City police are investigating a shooting that took place this weekend on University Drive. We have the details.
Student organizations are joining forces to empower women in politics. More on their role in leadership.
Ohio citizens are expected to splurge even more on gas after recent price increase. More with that coming soon.
Frustration and abandonment. That's what residents of East Palestine are still feeling 1 year after the toxic train derailment. More on the anniversary as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, Portage County, and thank you so much for starting off your week with us. I'm Alexandria Manthey.
And I'm Skylar, Eddington. Kent City Police responded to gunfire near an off-campus fraternity party early Sunday morning.
Our reporter Erin Sullivan is live from University Drive right now with more details. Hi, Erin.
Alex, Skylar, that's right. Kent City Police are still investigating a shooting that took place at an off-campus party fraternity house this weekend. Here's what we know.
I thought that they were going to come and they were going to shoot it up. And so I was very scared that I was going to die that night.
Kent City Police are investigating a shooting that happened near an off-campus fraternity house party early Sunday morning. Police say they responded to reports of gunshots being fired on University Drive after a fight broke out at a Tau Kappa Epsilon party shortly after midnight. The fraternity told Kent Wired that the group started the fight was not from Kent State, and they were told to leave after one member flashed his handgun in his waistband. Fraternity members then told partygoers to leave the house and go outside. That's when witnesses say chaos unfolded.
We hear 3 gunshots go up in the air. And so everyone scatters.
Police say no one was injured, but the incident has left students shaken. Others are wondering why no university flash alerts were sent out either.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it didn't happen on campus, so Kent State is not obligated to post anything, but also it happened very close to campus.
The university is cooperating with Kent City Police, but would not provide additional details about why a flash alert was not sent to students. All questions to the university are being redirected to City Police at this time. Students have posted on social media saying that same evening someone was arrested downtown at Barfly. Now, we did contact the Kent City Police for confirmation if this was related in any way at all, and we're still waiting for a response. Live on University, I'm Erin Sullivan for TV2 News.
Thanks, Erin. And now we have more on 2 campus organizations joining forces for women in politics.
Yes, Elaina has more with the story.
This weekend, the Women's Center hosted its 4th annual Elect Her event. Young women gathered together to learn the importance of female representation in student governments. Here's what they did. The Women's Center hosted their 4th annual Elect Her conference in hopes to amplify the voices of women from all different backgrounds.
As women, we are underrepresented, and it's important to make sure that our voices are heard. Sometimes we have to fight for ourselves, that starts as soon as you can.
During the event, students had an opportunity to connect with Chairwoman Elizabeth Walters and leaders within Kent State's undergraduate student government.
That is when we know we have achieved equity and gender representation, is when we are the full representation of every open seat.
Elect Her informs students about the process of running for government positions and encourages them to speak up in their communities. With a campus that's made up of 60% women, the group says this is important.
I hope that we see some more women-female representation on Kent's campus. We're about 70% female identifying on Kent's campus, and that's not reflective in our student leadership roles currently.
USG and the Women's Center are working to encourage women to take on more leadership roles through this program.
It's so important so we can inspire other students and give students who may feel like they do not have a voice to be that voice.
This is Elaina Matricardi for TV2.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Ryan Shanko, the People's weather anchor, And the Earth is still spinning, so is the broadcast, and that means we've got some weather to cover. So let's get right into it. Let's look at our currently in Kent. Right now, it's 34 degrees following the sunset just over an hour ago, and it feels like a bitter, chilling 29 degrees. Definitely a grab your jacket kind of night. The dew point sitting at 27 degrees, so we could see some ice on your vehicles tomorrow morning, kind of like we saw today. So when you're heading out for your classes in the morning, you got to go to work, make sure you leave some time to de-ice your car, because we all know how long and annoying that process is. Now we're going to look at right now, just like I said, 34 degrees, cold and breezy. Midnight tonight, about 29 degrees. It's going to be clear but ice cold when there are no clouds in that winter sky. It gets very cold. 29 will feel like much lower than that. And then tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., like I said, colder, 27 degrees before the sun comes up tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, the temperature will bounce back just a little bit. We're going to see a high of 46 degrees, and that's mostly because of a 5-mile-per-hour wind. It won't really affect our temperature at all. We're going to see no precipitation forecasted, and the sun will peek through those clouds for just a little bit tomorrow. Your sunset will be at 5:47 p.m. That's all I've got for now, but stay tuned. As long as we don't get a tornado inside the studio, I'll be back later with the rest of your forecast.
Thanks, Ryan. Gas prices are on the rise yet again here in Ohio. Prices in Cleveland have jumped nearly 4 cents last week and 10 cents in Akron. This raises the statewide average to $3 per gallon. A petroleum analyst at Gas Buddy says motorists should expect this trend to continue, as average prices won't see a drop anytime soon.
ODOT crews have been working for 8 days following a deadly crash on Route 8 that left the stretched road between Highland and Hines Hill Road closed. The accident left the road damaged, resulting in repairs and inspections due to safety concerns. ODOT mentioned that the ramp from State Route 8 to I-271 will remain reduced to 1 lane until further notice. A year has passed since the Norfolk Southern train derailment, and residents still aren't satisfied. Details on their concerns coming soon.
California has been hit by a massive storm system that has caused flooding, power outages, and even landslides. Still to come, how officials are taking steps to protect those who live there.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
This weekend marked the 1-year anniversary since the fiery, toxic Norfolk Southern train derailment in East Palestine. I visited the village, and while a lot of work has been done to clean up the site along with the air and water, residents told me that it's still just not enough. February 3rd, 2023. A Norfolk Southern train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in a small Ohio village just west of the Pennsylvania border. And 1 year later, East Palestine residents are still feeling its effects.
I argue that we're worse off now than we were back on February 3rd, because now we've lost all hope.
Residents within a mile radius of the derailment were evacuated, and rescue personnel tried a control burn of the 5 tanker cars carrying vinyl chloride in order to contain the toxic spill. But when residents returned, Wallace says the real problem was only just beginning.
I was immediately overwhelmed with chemical smell. My lungs started burning, eyes, throat, look over, and I see chemicals freely flowing down the creek right next to my house.
For the past year, Norfolk Southern and the EPA have been cleaning up the site, removing over 170,000 tons of contaminated soil and monitoring the water and air. The railroad also set up a family assistance center, which had nearly 12,000 visits from the community. Yet some residents still say they haven't done enough.
I never in a million years thought that the EPA would leave us here to die. So it's been a rough year.
And now one resident is turning his frustration into a political campaign.
Because everybody in power was doing a bunch of nothing.
President Biden announced that he'll make a stop here in East Palestine to speak to residents, but some of those residents tell me a year later is just too late.
People say we were forgotten. We were not forgotten. He knew we were here. We were abandoned.
If elected, Chai said he would sign the Railway Safety Act and introduce new legislation.
When something like this happens, the government's going to buy those homes, and they're going to go after the company that caused it to be repaid.
For TV2 News, I'm Alexandria Manthey.
Governor Mike DeWine announced 2 additional loans for East Palestine businesses, but not all requests have been approved to receive our help. Our own Erin Sullivan was in East Palestine talking to local businesses about their concerns.
It's been a year since the East Palestine train derailment, and local businesses say they're still trying to recover.
It's just been a struggle. I've been doing this for 45 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
Kathleen Unkefer, a floral designer at Flowers Straight from the Heart, told me her business received support after the derailment, but lately, business has been slow.
It's been hard. Like I said, for the businesses. That's what's, there's a lot of people suffering. I'm not taking away from that, but the businesses are suffering.
And Unkefer is not alone.
A lot of my customers from Pennsylvania don't come because it's just such an inconvenience.
Ernie Feltrop's customers at Doyle's Fresh Meat Market have avoided driving into town because of various road closures and detours.
I mean, I know I get feedback from the customers all the time. Other businesses are feeling the same, and it's just unfortunate.
Local businesses tell me they got a lot of support after the derailment, but a year later, they're still in need.
Nobody has been around to say, we want to help your business grow. Nobody.
This week, Governor DeWine announced 2 more East Palestine businesses received financial assistance from the state, but not all business owners have received help. Although they are struggling, East Palestine businesses remain hopeful and have leaned on each other for support.
Between the businesses, we kind of help each other, whether we make cookies for something they're doing or they do something back and forth.
We just do our best, to keep trying. That's all we can do.
In Michigan, deliberation over a manslaughter trial of Jennifer Crumley has begun. She's the mother of school shooter Ethan Crumley, who killed 4 people at Oxford High School in 2021. His mother is on trial for involuntary manslaughter for giving her gun to her then 15-year-old when there were clear mental health warning signs. This case is pushing the limits of how far prosecutors can go to hold parents responsible for their children's crimes.
A problem was found during the production of about 50 Boeing 737 MAXs that will result in them all being reworked. In a memo sent to employees, it was revealed that holes were misdrilled into the fuselage. The 737 factory located in Renton, Washington will be spending the next several days working on a solution, but the Boeing wanted to make it clear that all other 737s can fly safely and that the only major effect is airlines may suffer a delay in plane arrivals.
This past week, California was struck by intense rain, wind, and flooding, all caused by a monster atmospheric river system.
That's right, and just last night when our favorite singers were receiving their Grammys in LA, the rest of the city was dealing with a flash flood warning. The intense rain is expected to last until Wednesday, which could potentially cause life-threatening flooding.
Well, it seems like a lot of rain there in California, but I am curious if we're going to see any of that in Kent.
Well, you guys, I don't think we're going to. Fortunately, we can tell that atmospheric system to stay on the West Coast. And, oh, hey, Kent State, I didn't see you there. If you remember back just a few minutes, I said I'd be back. And here I am with your Northeast Ohio temperatures. Let's take a look and see. We're going to start up in the right top-hand corner of your screen with Ashtabula sitting just above the freezing line at 33 degrees. And then we move down the lakeshore to Cleveland, home of the Browns. Their season's over, but it's still 35 degrees and chilly in Cleveland. Over in Sandusky, we're at the freezing point, 32 degrees, 0 degrees Celsius. Down in Mansfield, it's 35. Worcester has a touchdown up on them, up 7 at 42. Canton, Football Hall of Fame with some football references for you today at 43 degrees. And in Youngstown, a little bit chillier at 39. And then our own Kent, Ohio, sitting at a tropical 34 degrees for you today. Now we're going to zoom out and take a look at the rest of our state. Just a moment here. I've got temperatures for Lima, Ashtabula, Columbus coming up. Oh, there we go, there we go. Like I said, Lima, it was worth the wait. 34 degrees. Down in Dayton, the Flyers having a great year on the basketball court. 43 degrees. Cincinnati sitting at a little bit warmer than where we are here, to be expected as they're down south at 54 degrees. Athens at 51. Steubenville at 46. And that school down the road at 42 degrees, just a little bit warmer than we are here in Kent. Now we're going to take a look at our 7-day outlook for Kent, Ohio. We're going to get that pulled up for you. We've got sun, we've got rain, we might even have a little snow. Let's take a look at the People's forecast on Tuesday. Tomorrow, we got a high of 46, a low of 25, mostly sunny and a light breeze. On Wednesday, a little bit warmer, 51, a low of 34, but same conditions out there. A few more clouds, but a light breeze. Then on Thursday, it's going to get a little warmer, still 56. You might just need a light jacket that we won't see the sun. A low of 45. It's going to be cloudy. Then Friday, 53 and rain. Your weekend, mostly sunny. And then you might see some rain and snow mix on Monday. And that's all the time I've got for you tonight on your TV2 Weather Report. Remember, use an umbrella if it rains and wear sunglasses when it's sunny. For TV2 Weather, I'm Ryan Shanko. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. Monday, Buckingham Palace announced King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer, and he will step back from public-facing duties while undergoing treatment.
A royal source says it is not prostate cancer, but did not elaborate further on the diagnosis. The news comes after the 75-year-old monarch underwent a procedure for an enlarged prostate last month.
Proposed legislation was released yesterday to address border security and provide foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel. If approved, the $118 billion bill would give the government the power to restrict illegal migrant crossings at the Mexico border. This would include $60 billion in aid to Ukraine and $14 billion in aid for Israel. The U.S. and the U.K. struck targets in Yemen only a day after the U.S. strike in Iraq and Syria. The new strike against Iran-backed Houthi rebels destroyed an anti-ship cruise missile that were, quote, prepared to launch. Earlier Saturday, American and British forces hit 36 targets in Yemen at 13 different locations. The British Defense Secretary has said the strikes are to protect innocent lives.
After airstrikes in central Gaza, 14 Palestinians were killed along with several others injured. The attacks left the Al-Shahada Mosque destroyed and with civilians trying to rescue people from under the rubble. Footage has shown scenes of several dead bodies in plastic bags and several citizens, including multiple children, receiving aid in the emergency room. Along with several Gaza children receiving first aid, an expected 17,000 have been left orphaned or separated from their parents. The UN agency UNICEF shares that nearly 1 million children, almost all of the children of Gaza, are in need of mental and psychological support. UNICEF also shared that children are severely struggling from anxiety, panic, inability to sleep, loss of appetite, and emotional outbursts when they hear bombings and airstrikes.
Kent State Gymnastics took on Ball State Sunday, looking for a big win for the MAC standings. Stick around to see the results.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
What's going on, everyone? Once again, my name is Noah Keeney, and I am thrilled to be bringing you sports news on this wonderful Monday night. In a battle between two of the top-ranked gymnastics teams in the Mid-American Conference, Kent State fell to Ball State on Sunday afternoon. Sarah Haxon, however, won her first event title of the season with an impressive routine on beam, scoring a career-high 9.9. Carly Franz led the way for the Flashers in rotation 1 on bars with a team high score of 9.8. Kennedy Wimpert has now also scored 9.8 plus in 3 consecutive meets. Kent State returns to the Mack Center next Sunday when Northern Illinois comes to town. Now to the gridiron. Currently, odds makers' favorite to hoist the trophy is the 49ers, and in my opinion, that's ridiculous. Considering the Chiefs' undeniable track record during the Mahomes and Andy Reid era, the 49ers finished 2023 with the number 2 ranked offense, averaging almost 29 points per game. They say defense wins championships, and the Chiefs, in my opinion, have a clear advantage here. The Chiefs haven't surrendered fewer yards per game since 1995. The playoffs over the years have only brought out the Chiefs' best on defense under Mahomes. They dominated both offensive superpowers in Miami and Baltimore this postseason. My prediction here is another Chiefs parade, 27-23 Chiefs.
Yeah,
finally,
I was
let's
dreaming about it the other night. Yeah.
Taking on the Raptors. Raptors, late first, Dennis Schroeder up and off the glass with his right hand, and it's thrown away. Thaddeus Young, quick thinking up with his left, floats it up and in as the buzzer. A 10-point lead. Now, towards the end of the second, that lead has only grown. It'll be at 14. Former Rookie of the Year Scotty Barnes steps into a 3 and makes it. 17-point lead, but the Oklahoma City Thunder wouldn't give up. Shea here, down 10, needing to cut it to come within striking distance, and he does that. It is now a 7-point deficit. Speaking of striking distance, why not strike all the way back? Dort to Giddey. The 2 is good. 91-91 with 8.5 remaining. Now we're going to go late in the fourth. Coach needs to drop a play, and he does just that. Up and in. What a pass from Giddey. 110-110. Overtime, Shea, that's his spot. Step back, Butter. Tying the game once again at 118. How about not 1 overtime, but 2? Not Shea this time, but Dort, the same spot off the glass. Up and in, 121-118. 4 minutes to go. Double overtime, Giddey, right, left, Euro step, and 1. It is good. The Thunder, 135, Raptors, 127, and now the 1 seed in the West. That's all the sports I have for you tonight. I've been Noah Keeney. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night, Portage County.
Thanks, Noah. And hamburger fans, you have the opportunity to win a huge prize if you can make the perfect Whopper. Details after the break.
Burger King has announced its $1 million Whopper contest, where customers have the opportunity to submit their ingredients for a classic sandwich. Applicants have up to 8 possible toppings to choose from for their creation. The winner of this entry will win, you guessed it, $1 million. The deadline for this contest is March 17th, and more information can be found on the Burger King website. Sounds absolutely delicious, but that will do it for us on this Monday edition of TV2 News. I'm Alexandria Manthey.
And I'm Skylar Eddington. Have a great night, Portage County.